Life doesn't wait. It hits you hard. And when it does, you're left with a choice: stand still or rise. The journey to greatness isn't smooth. It's brutal. It demands everything from you: your pain, your fears, your doubts. But here's the truth: everything you need is already within you. Pain isn't your enemy. It's your forge. Fear isn't a barrier. It's your fuel. The limits you feel, they're illusions. This journey is about breaking the chains, facing the storm, and stepping into the power you've always had. This isn't about survival. It's about transformation. And it begins now. Every step forward will challenge you. Every step forward will demand you give more than you think you have. But every step forward will bring you closer to the person you were destined to be. So, are you ready to claim what's yours? Pain doesn't knock. It kicks the door in. It grabs hold of you, demanding your attention. And yeah, it hurts. It stings. It makes you question everything. But here's the hard truth: pain isn't here to destroy you. It's here to teach you, to shape you. Every bruise, every scar, it's the price of transformation. Think back to your toughest moment, the one that left you shattered. You thought it was the end. But it wasn't, was it? You rose. You adapted. You got stronger. Pain is a mirror. It reflects your cracks, your weaknesses. But it's also a forge. Every time you face it, you're refined, sharpened, made new. Running from pain? That's a dead end. Facing it? That's where you find greatness. It's the fire that burns away fear, doubt, and weakness. But here's the twist: it's not just about enduring. It's about transforming. Pain can break you, or it can build you. The choice is yours. Now, let's be real, this is just the start. Because while pain reveals the cracks, there's a bigger enemy waiting. One you carry with you everywhere. It's the one that whispers, "You can't." The battle against pain leads you straight into the fight with your own mind. Pain is the first battle. But the real war, it's in your mind. It's the battlefield where most people lose before they even start. Your mind is relentless. It whispers lies. It tells you you're not enough. It convinces you to quit before the fight begins. And worse, you believe it. That voice, it's not your friend. It's your jailer. Every doubt, every excuse, every what if, those are the chains holding you back. Chains you forged yourself. But here's the thing, those chains, they're not real. They're illusions. Shadows cast by fear. They only have power because you give it to them. You felt it, haven't you? The tug of those mental limits. They tell you to stop when you're tired, to give up when you're scared, to stay small, safe, and unseen. But what if you pushed back? What if, Instead of listening, you defied that voice. Every time you challenge it, you weaken its hold. Every time you act despite fear, you break a link in the chain. This isn't easy. Your mind will fight you. It will scream. It will test your resolve. But with every step forward, you reclaim control. You don't just survive, you dominate. Remember, your mind is powerful, but it works for you, not the other way around. Master it, and no limit can hold you. And as you break free, you'll face another force. One just as powerful, but far more deceptive. It's the one thing that's been painted as your enemy all your life: fear. You faced the pain. You silenced the doubts. But now, something deeper creeps in. Fear. It whispers, it paralyzes, it tells you to stop. You've been taught that fear is the enemy, that it's a wall too high to climb. But what if I told you the truth? Fear isn't your enemy. Fear is your ally. Its energy, pure, untamed, and raw. Think about it. Fear only shows up when you're about to do something that matters. It's a compass pointing you toward growth. When your heart races, your palms sweat, that's not weakness. That's power begging to be unleashed. The difference between those who succeed and those who stand still isn't the absence of fear. It's what they do with it. Fear can freeze you in place, or it can ignite you. It can chain you down, or it can push you forward like a rocket. You get to decide. The next time fear grips you, don't run. Don't fight it. Lean in. Feel it. Let it remind you that you're alive, that you're stepping into the unknown. Because the unknown is where transformation happens. Ask yourself this: what's scarier? The discomfort of facing fear, or the regret of letting it control you? Every time you confront it, you grow stronger. Every time you act in spite of it, you reclaim your power. Fear doesn't vanish. It will always be there, waiting in the shadows. But once you learn to channel it, you'll discover that it's not a wall, it's a door. And when you walk through, you'll realize that what's on the other side was worth every step. But there's one more chain to break. Fear may drive you forward, but something else holds you back, those invisible chains of belief. Fear pushed you forward, but something still tugs you back. Invisible chains. Heavy. Unyielding. You felt them, haven't you? The doubts. The excuses. The I can't that plays on repeat in your mind. Those chains weren't forged overnight. They were built piece by failures, by criticism, by the lies you started believing. And now, they've become your prison. You don't see the bars, but you feel them every time you try to move forward. Here's the truth: those chains aren't real. They only exist because you give them power. Every limiting belief, every excuse, they're illusions. But illusions only disappear when you face them head on. So, it's time to ask yourself, what's holding you back? Is it fear of failure? Fear of judgment? Or is it the comfort of staying small? Be brutally honest. Name your chains. Because once you do, you can start breaking them. And breaking them, that requires action. It requires defiance. You have to challenge every belief that says you can't. Test it. Push against it. Prove it wrong. Every time you do, the chain weakens. Every step forward is a crack in the illusion. It won't be easy. Those chains are familiar, and comfort can feel safer than freedom. But safety doesn't lead to greatness. Comfort doesn't change lives. If you want to be free, you have to fight for it. You have to choose discomfort over ease. Freedom over fear. And here's the secret. The moment you break one chain, you'll realize they were never unbreakable. They were fragile all along. And as you free yourself, you'll see something else. The biggest chain of all isn't fear or doubt, it's the past. You've broken the chains. You're moving forward. But now, the hardest battle lies ahead. Vulnerability. The fear of being seen for who you really are. You've built walls, haven't you? Strong, thick, impenetrable. They've kept you safe. Safe from judgment. Safe from pain. But also safe from connection. Safe from freedom. Here's the paradox. The walls you think protect you are the same ones trapping you. They shield you from rejection, but they also block your growth. They hide your scars, but they also hide your strength. Being vulnerable feels like standing naked in a storm. It's terrifying. It exposes your flaws, your fears, your weaknesses. But here's the truth. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's power. When you drop the mask, you step into authenticity. You stop hiding behind what you think the world wants to see and show who you really are. And that takes courage, more courage than pretending to be invincible ever could. You're afraid to be vulnerable because it makes you feel exposed. But exposure isn't the enemy. Pretending to be perfect is. Vulnerability is the key to freedom. It's how you heal. It's how you connect. It's how you grow. So, stop running from it. Let people see the cracks, the scars, the real you. Because your power doesn't lie in being flawless. It lies in owning your imperfections and using them as a foundation to build something unshakable. But this isn't just about others. It's about facing yourself. Because the hardest vulnerability is being honest with you. And to do that, you must let go of something even heavier, the past. You've faced the pain. You've broken the chains. You've embraced vulnerability. But there's still one anchor holding you back, the past. You feel its weight, don't you? The mistakes, the failures, the moments you wish you could erase. They cling to you, whispering lies, you'll never be enough. You can't escape who you were. But here's the truth, the past is dead. It's over. It only holds power if you keep dragging it with you. Every time you replay those old stories, every time you let regret define your choices, you're giving life to something that no longer exists. What's worse, the comfort of the past can feel safer than the uncertainty of the future. At least you know the pain, the failures, the limitations. They're familiar. But staying there? That's choosing stagnation over possibility. You can't rewrite the past, but you can reclaim its narrative. Every scar, every setback, every heartbreak, it's a lesson, not a life sentence. The past isn't your enemy. It's your training ground. Let go. Stop letting yesterday's weight crush today's potential. That baggage you're carrying, it's not yours anymore. Drop it. Free your hands for what's ahead. The future is calling, but it demands something of you. Courage, faith, action. You can't step forward while looking back. The only way to move is to choose what matters now. Not what hurt you, not what broke you, but what's waiting for you on the other side. And here's the promise. When you free yourself from the past, you make room for greatness. You create space to build, to grow, to rise. Because this journey isn't just about surviving. It's about thriving. And now, with nothing holding you back, you're ready to step fully into the person you were meant to become. You faced it all. The pain, the fear, the doubt, the chains of the past, they came for you. They tested you. And you rose. This journey wasn't about avoiding the storm. It was about becoming the storm. It wasn't about dodging the fire. It was about stepping into it, letting it forge you into something unstoppable. Now, look at yourself. You're no longer bound. No longer hiding. You faced the parts of yourself that once scared you and turned them into your greatest strengths. You've rewritten your story. But this isn't the end. It's the beginning. A life of purpose. A life of power. A life where you decide the rules. You are the warrior. You are the fire. And there's nothing that can stop you now. The world is waiting. What will you conquer next?